Only 1 out of 50 to 100 daygamers succeed in Daygame. Over more than 7 years of coaching, I've communicated with many hundreds of daygamers, and only a small percentage get more than a random date here and there. In this video, you'll learn 4 reasons why that happens and what you can do to be an exception. We will look at why so few men succeed, what you can realistically expect from Daygame, meaning how many girls you have to approach to sleep with one of them as a beginner, intermediate, and advanced daygamer, what it takes to get laid regularly from Daygame, the 4 reasons why only 1 out of 50 to 100 men succeed in Daygame, and what you can do to solve 3 of those reasons. This is just my experience. I first started daygaming around 10 years ago and started coaching a little more than 7 years ago. I worked with guys from 18 to 72 from all over the world, the US, Canada, UK, all over EU, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, etc. And just to be clear, we're talking about people learning Daygame on their own. We're not going to be talking that much about people who work with good coaches. A few weeks ago, I realized that a few guys I'm coaching online have unrealistic expectations both in what's achievable in Daygame and what it really takes to get there. I think that is because YouTube channels and podcasts are focusing on the positive stories and hiding the failures. If you want to hear some failure stories, in the description I've linked a podcast episode where I talk about the students I wasn't able to help even with in-field coaching. Let's start with talking about realistic expectations. How many girls you have to approach to sleep with one of them as a beginner, intermediate, and advanced daygamer? I have a student in New York City who's done 120 approaches since we started working together, and he says he feels demotivated because he's not getting too many dates and lays. And I had a guy from Philly complain about the same thing after doing 134 approaches. When talking about realistic expectations, we're going to be talking about the average guy in an average city. There are always exceptions. Let's look at a good beginner. A good beginner has a good understanding of all Daygame fundamentals. He understands and can use all the tools described in the structured natural approach or London Daygame model. A good strong stop, a good opener, he's decent at stacking and getting topics to talk about, he can tease and storytell, he knows how to challenge and make girls qualify a little bit, and he's pretty okay at number closing. He can do basic texting and understands how to run a decent date and escalate. You can learn all of these things for free on my courses on daygamecourses.com. Before I tell you a number of how many girls a good beginner has to approach to sleep with one of them, let's get a few things clear. A blowout, a girl just walking around you or rejecting you fast, still counts as an approach. And only sex counts. Blowjobs, handjobs, and all of those things don't count in the stats. A good beginner who can do all of these things can expect to get laid with 1 out of 100 girls he approaches. To get to that level, you simply need to polish the fundamentals, nothing else. No fancy push-pull moves, kino escalation on a street, and other nonsense. You can consider that you've graduated this level and you're a really good beginner if you have 8 lays with 100 to 1 open to lay ratio. An intermediate daygamer takes this to a whole new level. After mastering the fundamentals, he discovers that he's really good at one thing. Sometimes that is teasing, other times it's building comfort. I recently made a video about 6 types of good daygamers. You can watch that video if you want to understand what are the 6 typical things guys use to become good intermediate daygamers. It is linked in the description. My style was the teaser. I could always tease about anything that girls said, and I went hard with my teases. Mr. T was the friendly guy. He could start a conversation with any girl in any situation, oftentimes in a casual, sometimes even indirect way, but he knew how to turn this sexual. We've had a few cases where we opened 2 sets, he got laid, but I didn't. Now he has more than 50 Daygame lays. Pablito, on the other hand, was the qualifier. He would use his 40-year-old cool high-value guy card and he would make girls qualify to see if they're interesting enough. And it paid off. Now he has more than 70 Daygame lays. At this level, a Daygamer's game is based on one thing and he becomes very good at that thing and gets laid easily with girls who like it. An intermediate Daygamer can expect to get laid with 1 out of 60 women he opens. But people get stuck here because they rely on their one strength. To keep progressing to an advanced level, you need to learn to get laid in different locations around the world with different types of women. Each time you go to a new location, you need to adapt your game a little bit. Daygame is 90% the same anywhere you go, so if you can get laid in one place, it's highly likely you will be able to get pretty much anywhere you go. But to get really good results, to get a good open to lay ratio in any place, you have to master the 10% that's specific for that location. Each time you do that, you get better at the skill of adapting. So the next time you can adjust to a new location or a new girl even faster. And eventually you can do this almost instantly. You can adapt to each girl as you're speaking to her, and this is when you've reached the advanced level. You can say you really are an intermediate level Daygamer if you have an open to lay ratio of 60:1 for a minimum of last 10 lays. And to graduate to an advanced level, you have to have a minimum of 30 lays, but it doesn't count if all of them are in the same location. You can have 100 lays and still be an intermediate Daygamer. The big question is, are you able to adapt to different locations and different types of girls? An advanced Daygamer, the pinnacle guys are striving to. He can adapt to different locations, different types of girls, and can pull off non-standard stuff. In my eyes, the big test is, can you set up a threesome with your regulars? I can, and I know that Pavlito can. An advanced Daygamer can expect to get laid with 1 out of 30 women he approaches. When people hear my answer to what do you do, they want to talk about Daygame. Most think it's awesome, but many are surprised that the conversion ratios are so low. Think about it, I do 10 approaches in a 2-hour-long Daygame session. That means 6 hours of being on the streets to get laid with one woman if your open to lay ratio is 30:1, and 20 hours if your open to lay ratio is 100:1. Let's compare that to online dating. In Daygame, you're getting two really good things. First, younger, hotter, and more interesting women. Why would a young, hot, interesting, and smart woman be on an online dating app? She gets hit on all the time at work, gym, when she goes to a bar, to a coffee shop, when she walks down the street, and I'm not even talking about guys sliding into her DMs. When girls like this sign up for online dating apps, maybe they spend a few days there at most before they delete their accounts. But you can always approach them on the street. I was on a call with a guy from Brooklyn, New York City a few days ago who's thinking about joining my online coaching program. He's doing pretty good online, but this is the exact reason he was thinking about starting to take Daygame more seriously. He was interested in dating younger and hotter girls. Same as an Italian guy I'm meeting in a few weeks for Daygame coaching in Riga. He's already doing pretty good with women, but he has never slept with many girls in their early 20s, and he wants to learn that as a guy in his early 40s and sees Daygame as the best option to do that. And the second thing you get from Daygame that you don't get from online dating is respectful attitude. I was coaching a student from the USA and he was depressed because of the attitudes he was seeing on dating apps. He was a good-looking guy with decent style and grooming. He was a catch. But he gets almost no matches, most girls aren't responding or are randomly disappearing, and when he finally goes on a date, in many cases girls have entitled behaviors, even very average looking ones. I've done my fair share of Tindering and had the same experience. It's depressing. Am I that ugly and undesirable? No, because I have slept with more women that I consider healthy, I have a wonderful girlfriend, plus I get to have my fun too, all because of learning Daygame. If you want to have fun with a lot of women, have wild adventures, threesomes, etc., you will need to do a lot of work, just as if you wanted to get really ripped. Daygame isn't something you learn by watching a few videos and approaching some girls here or there. It's a lifestyle. If all you want is to improve your dating life a little bit and find a nice girlfriend, that's easier. All you need to do is to become a good beginner, but it's harder than you might think. Let's look at it. What it takes to get laid regularly from Daygame. It's easier for some guys and harder for others. It depends on your personality, social skills, mental health, style and grooming, your fitness level, and other things. Looks are overrated and style and grooming are underrated. Looks are a sum of many things: height, facial features, fitness level, hair, style, grooming, etc. You can't change how tall or good looking you are or how much hair you have. But you can change your style and grooming. Good style and grooming makes learning day game easier. It gets your foot in the door. While I was coaching him, he was also at the same time going through a transformation process with my stylist. I set up most of my students with my stylist, and the results he got before and after changing his style and grooming were day and night. On the last day of coaching, his transformation was finished, and when he was walking down the streets, he was so much more confident. He was walking with a swagger, and you could see that in the reactions he was getting from the girls. And voila, better reactions, better sets, better results, more lays. But I'm not talking about having an okay style. I'm saying you must look really fuckable. If you look in a mirror and your style and grooming don't look like a stereotypical hot guy from a Hollywood movie, it's not good enough. The reactions the student in Chicago was getting before and after transformation was day and night. That's why work with my stylist is included in most coaching packages. Now that we've got this out of the way, let's look at what does it take to really get good at day game, or 4 reasons why only 1 out of 50 to 100 guys become good at day game. It's consistency, or not going out enough for long enough. It's learning from the wrong material, not seeing the mistakes you're making, and not bringing any value to the table in that order. Let's look at those separately. Consistency. Are you going out enough and consistently? If you want to have a shot at becoming good at day game, you need to go out regularly for at least 6 to 12 months without any breaks, just like going to the gym. When I first met Mr. T, when he came to Riga many years ago, it was when I just had started coaching, he met me and one of my wings on the street, and he was surprised that every time he went out for a walk, there we were day gaming. He was going out in the lunchtime. Hey, he runs into us. He's going out after 5 p.m. when people finish work and are on their way home. Again, we're on the street day gaming. You have to go out around 3 times a week, and you can't take a week off for 6 to 12 months. I have a student in my online coaching program from New York City, and this guy goes out every week with no breaks. He's putting in bold volume. He's one of the hardest working students I've ever had. There are 3 things you can do to help yourself be more consistent with day game. First is very simple: accountability. Have someone you can be accountable to. The second thing you can do is to learn to implement day game in your life in a sustainable way. Things will come up. You will have a busy period at work, or you might go visit your parents for a holiday. It's important to find ways you can keep day gaming while these things happen. You can't take a time off. Each time you take a week off, approach anxiety will come back with full force, and you'll forget everything you've learned much faster than you would imagine. When I was coaching a guy from LA a few years ago, we had to figure out how can he put in enough volume in these lower volume situations. We had to figure out the best places, the best times to be there, and backup locations for times when at these places there wasn't enough volume. Places like CVS, Target, Whole Foods, etc. But don't worry, you can start taking breaks from day game once you've mastered the fundamentals. Once you get to a good beginner level, meaning you have at least 8 day game lays with 100 to 1 open to lay ratio. And no, doing situational approaches while you're running your errands doesn't count. To learn day game, you need to do dedicated day game sessions with 10 approaches per session. That's because the best learning will happen when you are running your A game, meaning you're going out enough, you're feeling comfortable being out on the streets, you're in a good mood, you warmed up. That's when you're running your best game possible, and that's when the learning happens. B game is, well, let's say you've been going out regularly, you are in a decent mood, but you haven't warmed up yet. So the first few approaches of the session will be a little rusty. That's your B game. And C game is, well, you just got back into Daygame from taking a month off, you haven't warmed up, everything is shit, nothing works. That's your C game. When can you switch from dedicated Daygame sessions to doing situational approaches when your A game is perfect? When your A game is really, really good, you can start working on your B game. That's what I started doing many years ago. Nowadays, I only Daygame on Daygame trips and when I'm coaching, so all of my Daygame is then only in B game. And the third thing you can do to be more consistent with your Daygame is do fewer things in your life. Most people can only focus on 2, maybe 3 things in their lives. Your work or business probably will be number 1. Daygame has to be number 2. Yes, you can add like a hobby you're really dedicated about or gym as number 3, but Daygame has to be your second priority above these things. An Italian guy in my online coaching program is a great example for this because he works so much, he's in these non-social situations all the time that it's very hard for him to switch from work mode to Daygame mode, and that makes learning Daygame so much harder. He has to find space for Daygame, he has to learn to switch from his Daygame mood from his work mood to Daygame mood, and that's when things will start working. What does it take to get good? A minimum of 6 to 12 months of non-stop Daygame, finding time for Daygame during busy periods at work, making Daygame your priority number 2, and less time for other things in your life, for example, hobbies. The second reason why only 1 out of 50 to 100 Daygamers succeed in Daygame is they're learning from the wrong material. Over the years, I've met many hundreds of Daygamers and I only look at 2 things. What are their results and what Daygame model they're following or who they're following on YouTube, etc. If they don't have a lot of lays, I really don't care about their opinions because they're obviously wrong. But if I meet someone who's doing really, really good, I pay a lot of attention. What model are they using, who they're following on YouTube, and what their beliefs are. And almost everyone I've met who got really, really good at Daygame is using the same approach, the same model of Daygame, London Daygame model. If you want to become good, don't try to reinvent the wheel. It has been invented, it works, there is no need to look for anything new. Only watch material with proven track record. If you can find them, you can listen to the old Tom Torero podcast, watch his videos, read his books. If you like my style of teaching Daygame, then you can watch my free course, The Structured Natural Approach. It's based on London Daygame model, but instead of relying on copy-paste lines invented by someone else, it helps you build your game around your real personality. It's available for free on daygamecourses.com. Don't mix and match. Different Daygame models work for different reasons. Different coaches explain and teach Daygame in different ways. You can't fit a part from a Toyota into a BMW and expect it to work. Find one system and follow it. Next, infields are bad for learning Daygame if you have less than 8 Daygame lays. How do you know the infield you're watching is actually good? Did it end in a number clause? Great, but did that girl respond? Did she come out on a date? Or maybe was that simply a yes girl who just liked the guy who approached her? Or is it a set that would end in a lay in 1 out of 30 approaches for the average guy, not the exception? Because beginners don't know what a good Daygame set looks like, it's hard for them to understand which infields are good to watch and which are a waste of time and maybe even damaging. That being said, there are 2 very good reasons to watch infields. First, for inspiration and positive vibes, just to, improve your mood, lift your spirits before you go out, and to take your game from a good beginner to an intermediate level. To learn the fundamentals and get to 8 Daygame lays, all you need is to find a good Daygame model, whether that's London Daygame model or the Structured Natural Approach, and learn to use it. Infields, though, are good if you want to progress further. During infield coaching, I do demo sets so students could see things I haven't explained yet. They notice the smaller details. Infields are similar. You'll notice things about body language, tonality, transitioning from one topic to another, and many other small details. I use Tom Torero's infields for this. Ask around for his stealth seduction course. Since he's passed away, I doubt he'll be minding people passing around his products. Just don't buy it from the idiots who are selling stuff that they haven't made. There's a lot of that stuff going out online. Ask around in a group chat and you'll find stealth seduction pretty fast. And last thing about the content, record your sets to find your mistakes. The most common word I hear from my students when they start recording their sets is cringe. You'll be surprised about how bad your voice sounds, how bad your delivery is, and how many mistakes you're making. I used to record my sets all the time to listen back to them right after the approach to already figure out what I can improve the next time I approach a girl in the same session. In the description, I'll link 2 videos. First, how to record and analyze your sets, and second, why you're getting rejected early. The second video will teach you what mistakes to look for in your recordings. Just don't share those recordings online, don't be an asshole, because would you want someone to post infills with your sister or daughter in them? What does it take to get good? Finding and sticking to one model, following it perfectly, recording and analyzing your sets. Third reason why only 1 out of 50 to 100 guys ever get good at Daygame is they're not seeing their mistakes. If you're going out enough and are using the right Daygame model but still aren't getting results, you're not seeing your mistakes, or you're not recognizing which of the mistakes you're making are the most important ones to fix first. Almost everyone I know who got good at Daygame on their own did so within 6 months or less. I know of only a few guys who kept grinding and eventually got there. One very active Daygamer from Riga, Latvia comes to mind, but he only ever got to intermediate level. It took him years. I estimate that he has done way more approaches in Riga than I ever did. He's completely exhausted the city and is reopening girls all the time, and I hear this from girls. You have to ask yourself, do I want to be known as that guy? If you've been at this for 6 months or more, the odds aren't in your favor and you need to admit that you need help. There are 2 types of guys that can actually help you. First is advanced Daygamers with at least 50 Daygame lives. If they learn fast, be a bit more careful. That's not a good sign because they might be really good looking or they might have a personality that learns faster, so what worked for them might not work for you. But it's definitely a good idea to try. If you're lucky enough to have wings like that, ask them to listen to your sets. And the second option is working with a good Daygame coach. Each person is different. You might be an introverted guy who's learning Daygame to become more social and start talking to girls. Or maybe you're a social butterfly who used to be really good with girls, but now you're trying to get back into dating in your 40s after getting a divorce. Different types of guys will require different attitudes during coaching and will develop different styles of game. Which one's right for you, a good wing or a good coach? A coach with a proven track record will be able to help different types of guys fast. A good wing might or might not be helpful. If you can afford it, get a good coach. If you can't, work with good wings. If when working with a wing you're not progressing month after month, they're missing something, you're missing something, and get a coach. And very quickly on how to pick the right coach, or do you even need a good coach? The difference between beginner and good coaches is a good coach can get results to very different types of guys. If you're a good-looking guy who just needs someone to push them into sets to overcome approach anxiety, you can get away with hiring some 24-year-old for €50 an hour. That will be good enough. If you think you'll need more help, more technical help, then there are very few people in the world who can really point out your mistakes and tell you exactly what you need to do to fix them. For example, on X, there is a guy, Suburbs Daygame, who went from getting 1 number out of every 9 approaches he did to getting 1 number out of every 4 approaches he did after doing a few coaching calls with me. But you don't have to believe that I can do it for you. You can try my coaching for free. I realized most people in the industry sound really good in the videos, but then I worked with an Italian guy a few months ago who paid thousands of dollars for a course where the coach was literally telling him the generic advice of you have to be more flirty and other nonsense like that. He was surprised about how technical and step-by-step my style of coaching was in comparison. So I decided to start doing free group coaching calls so guys interested in getting coaching can experience a bit of my style of coaching without spending any money. I listen to and analyze recorded sets sent in by everyone on a call. I point out your mistakes and tell you exactly how to fix them step by step. This way you can decide whether I can actually help you instead of just taking my word for it. You can find more about this opportunity and apply by clicking the link in description titled Free Daygame Coaching. So what does it take to become good? Admitting that you need help. And the last reason only 1 out of 50 to 100 guys ever get good at Daygame is they're not bringing any value to the table. If nothing else works, make sure you fixed other parts of your life. Make sure you're bringing some value to the sexual marketplace. Get your shit in order. Style and grooming, obesity, lifestyle, work. You don't need to be loaded, but you need to be able to live a comfortable life. If you're still flipping burgers at McDonald's, it's gonna be really hard. Basically, all the stuff Sigma boys talk about, but just don't be like them and actually learn some game on top of it. A simple example of this is an Indian guy I coached from New York City who was getting a lot of blowouts, but then he fixed his style and grooming and boom, all of a sudden girls were stopping and he was getting much better reactions. What does it take to become good? Fix your style and grooming, lose excess weight if you're obese, and build a career. If instead of trying to solve all of this on your own, you would prefer me helping you, then consider joining our online coaching program. In the program, we will be solving 3 out of the 4 reasons why guys fail in Daygame. Consistency is solved by you tracking approaches and reporting directly to me every week, and I will help you find ways to make time for Daygame even when work and other things get in the way. We will solve the problem of learning from the wrong content because you will have access to a lot of content that's much more in-depth, much more technical than anything I've ever talked about on my podcast or on my YouTube channel. And we will make sure you know your mistakes and how to fix them during our monthly or weekly one-on-one coaching calls where we will listen to your sent-in recordings together. I'll point out your mistakes. I'll tell you how exactly to fix them over the next month, and about any questions you have about dates, texting, or anything else Daygame related, you will have access to our group chat, or you can simply DM me with any questions you have. To try my style of coaching and learn more about the program, join our free group coaching calls. Again, all the information about them is linked in the description. That's it for this time. See you in the next video. Ciao, guys.